Hello, Lisa Gilbert, psychiatrist retired, back again to do another episode of Pearls of Wisdom. These are just pieces of information that might be useful to anyone struggling with a past trauma history or post-traumatic stress disorder. Last time I talked about different types of trauma triggers and the antidote. And the first antidote I gave was about developing a list in a situation where you could feel or experience being trapped in a non dangerous kind of situation, but more an everyday kind of scenario. However, it ignites the emotional system of the PTSD. So today I'm going to pick up with the example that I gave last time about road rage. When you are following someone who is going very slowly or driving strangely with a double yellow line and unable to pass that person, can begin to ignite the feeling of a trap. That trap, in essence, emotionally time travels under the surface to the time when you were most trapped in a traumatic situation, whether that be, someone had grabbed you and it's an assault, or whether you're in a combat situation and trapped. The emotional system, a trap is a trap. And so being stuck behind someone on a highway or a two-lane road where you can't get around them uh, begins to vibrate like the other kind of trap and bring those emotions out of your body and your emotional system all together and flaming into the present where you don't want it. So those are what I describe as the abstract triggers or situational triggers that are really tough to recognize. So it feels like the emotions are coming out of the blue when in fact they're not. Um, so today, I mentioned that having a list of choices is one way to begin to undo or deconstruct the trigger. So in the situation of the road rage, you look at the choices. There are not very many, but one of the choices is, pull off the road or pull to the side of the road, someplace safe, and just wait for that other driver to get out of out of the way, out of your journey, and that way you clear the path for the travel that you wish to do. Now, you may not actually pull off. You might just remind yourself that you have that choice, that you could choose to go a different way or stop and wait. Those are two choices. And the minute that you have choices, the trap deconstructs. And so you might be an annoyed driver and an unhappy driver with the situation, but you're not a triggered PTSD driver having a rage attack or a panic attack because of the commonality between trap and the former trap. So list choices are things that you literally could do and may or may not choose to do them, or you just know that you have those choices to help begin intellectually and emotionally to deconstruct the trigger. There is another antidote for the road rage trigger, this trapped trigger that I've been talking about. This one's a little bit takes a little bit more work because you have to practice. It becomes a daily practice, similar to people that talk about doing a gratitude list at the beginning of your day to list all the things that you are grateful for, to sort of set the day into a positive mindset to help keep, again, your nervous system in a calmer place. This is sort of a spin-off from that. It's a practice of benefit of the doubt. So what I mean by that is literally every day reminding yourself that people are doing the best they can with what they have to work with in this present moment. And therefore, you give them the benefit of the doubt when they're behaving in ways that you wish they wouldn't. Just as you would want someone to give you the benefit of the doubt if you are having an off day or didn't get enough sleep or feeling angry, hungry, tired, lonely, whatever, and you're off and you're not at your best, you want people around you to give you the benefit of the doubt, wouldn't you? I know I would. So it's an idea, but it becomes sort of a ritual practice of reminding yourself each day that people are doing the best they can with what they have to work with. And take a look around. I mean, people are stressed. They're, trying to meet their bills. They're trying to raise children. They're, trying to get to work. And they're, dealing with health issues. People are dealing with a lot of stress uh, all around. Just ask anybody. And so the idea of giving them the benefit of the doubt is really a kind, compassionate way of stepping through life. If you practice that, then when you hit that day, that person is just driving oddly and making you nuts, is to remind yourself to give them the benefit of the doubt. It will make it easier, first of all, to use your list of choices. And it will also help keep your nervous system from getting all yanked up, because it is your assumptions, my assumptions, your assumptions, that cause us to fuel the negative. Like, that guy is so entitled. Look, he's such an ass. Why is he driving like that? He's just giving, he's doing it on purpose. I think he's trying to annoy me. As soon as you get in that mindset that they're doing it to you, sort of the horizontal mindset that things are being done onto you, you've lost your connection to the vertical, you've lost your groundedness, you've lost your spiritual connection. You're out here somewhere in the fringes of paranoia. I mean, believing the world is against you and doing bad things to you. It is a choice to get yourself centered, and giving people the benefit of the doubt is part of that centering. So if you give that driver who seems they're not doing things the way they should be doing the benefit of the doubt, you're not going to change who they are. They might be jerks that are trying to be nasty. I don't know. Doesn't matter. What you can change is yourself. And I learned this lesson partly because of an unfortunate mishap that I had when I was young, like 19 years old. I was trying to hurry someplace, don't remember what I was up to, on a double yellow line road, and the person in front of me was driving very strangely. They were going slow, then they'd speed up. For a moment, they put their flashers on, they took their flashers off. I couldn't wait to get by this person. Finally, they turned their left-hand turn signal, and I thought, good, I could, get around them on the right side and keep going. Well, when I went to go around them on the right side, they swerved out before they made their left, and I clipped to the back end of the car. Well, they pulled over and they jumped out of their car, and I got out of my car thinking, oh boy, I'm gonna, in trouble. Was the law going to come? My insurance going to go up? What are my parents going to say? All those sort of things that run through your head. And the woman looks at me with big eyes and says, I don't care about the dents in the car. I gotta go. I got a sick kid in the back seat, and I gotta get to the hospital. And jumps in her car and leaves. And I was just like, oh my God. I had no idea what was going on in that other person's car, except that they were annoying me the way they were driving. So I learned a very humbling lesson that day, that you don't know what's going on with someone, and try to give them the benefit of the doubt as often as you can, and it will help your impatience. And then the trap, if you're impatient, if you're an impatient person, you're more likely to get into that trapped feeling. So is to dial yourself out of the impatience, giving people the benefit of the doubt, calming down, and understanding that people really, truly are doing the best that they can with what they have to work with today. So I hope that those two suggestions of how to deconstruct these ubiquitous sneak up on you triggers will help you either get out of them sooner or not even fully get into them once they present themselves. Today, I also wanted to add another discussion about the word safe. People ask clinically all the time whether you're in a safe situation. That word comes up so often. And many clinicians don't understand that trauma survivors really don't understand what that word means, at least not viscerally in their body. They may have an intellectual concept of what it is, but they don't really know it, not the way we think they should know it, or we assume that they know it. So one of the things that I learned to do was to establish what the word safe actually means. And I used to do that by having the conversation with a person, something like this, that you and I right now, if it's just you, one person, and me sitting in my office, I say, you and I are two of the most safe people in the world right now. And how do I know that? Well, I'm not a murderer. I can guarantee you I'm not, and I'm pretty sure you're not. So the two of us are pretty safe here together. And then I expanded out a little bit. We're here in an office in a back corner of a VA building, way away from everything else in Western Massachusetts. There's no hurricanes going on. There's no volcanoes. There's nothing really as far as natural disasters happening around here. There's no war. We're not in a war zone. There's no gangs fighting right. In fact, right outside the window is a beautiful woodlot. So really, when you look around where I was practicing at that moment in that office, compared to the rest of the world, we had heat, we had cool in the summer, we had clothing, we had food, we were well fed, you have water, you have a roof over your head, you're not in a war zone. It's about as safe as it gets. You can compare yourself to the whole entire planet and see that of the 7+ billion people on the planet, that the two of us sitting in that office are really about as safe as anybody could be in that given moment. I won't say 100% safe. 99.5%, possibly a bolt of lightning could come down. I don't know, some sinkhole could happen. I suppose something could happen, meteor come down. So you can't say 100%. But as far as we can experience as human beings, that moment in the office with two people in a place that has nothing going on in the environment or society around us that would make us unsafe, we were very safe compared to all the people on the planet. In fact, we're not only as safe as about anybody could be, comparatively going back in time, go back to the settlers' times, go back to medieval times, go back ancient Roman times. As you dial back and think about the diseases and starvation and tribal warfare and all the different kinds of things that made people unsafe through their cultures and societies through all of time, the two of us are actually as safe as any two human beings, maybe in all of human history. I mean, globally and in the past, this is a big deal that we really are quite safe right here and now. And again, not 100%. So once you've established that, then I would ask the person to check in with their body and see what it feels like to have this sense that maybe we're the two safest people in the whole world. And sometimes people can feel it, sometimes they can't, but they begin to look into their body. And if they're all tensed up and vibrating and anxious, and they say, well, why? Why is that? Because right now, your signals of danger and the level of safety are a complete mismatch, and we need to get those in alignment by doing some relaxation and skills that you can learn in therapy. Once we've done that, the next question is, how do you feel here in the office with me in this established, what we're calling safe, compared to when you're sitting on your own living room couch? Are you more safe here, less safe, or about the same? And the person will begin to sense. Some people immediately, I'm safest on my own couch in my own house. Fine, okay, that's really safe. This is maybe a little bit not quite as safe, but it's close. Once you get that established, or perhaps they need to practice to go home and see what it feels like sitting in their living room and then come back in the office and sit again, comparing those two. Now you've got a sense of what your body is doing in two places that are relatively and very probably highly safe. That's a good place to begin to define safe within yourself, within your own body. From this, once you've got your body feeling like it maybe is settled into a safe place on your couch or in my office or out in the woods, wherever the place is then to develop another kind of safe, which is an internal imaginary safe. We'll call it safe places, safe space inside your own head. It's imaginary. So you develop in your own mind where you think the safest place in the whole universe could be, and you design it. It's completely a creative endeavor. Some people have a cabin on the top of a mountain. Some people are in a submarine. Some people are on a cottage on the beach. Some people are just in their own living room. One person actually was in the apron pocket of her grandmother's apron pocket was her safe space. The more sensory that you can make this place, the better. In other words, if you can see it, is it warm? Is it cold? Is it outside? Is it inside? Is there a breeze? What does it smell like? Is there flowers? Is it fresh vegetation? Does it smell like the woods or the ocean? And then what do you want to put in the place? Do you want it to just be a bunch of pillows on the floor, or do you want it to have a couch and a TV set and a refrigerator? Or do you want it to have a full gym and a swimming pool and a workout area? I mean, you can make anything you want in your safe space. And the more imagination and creative that you make this place, it's really you're owning it and making it your own. It becomes established. And then it becomes a tool. When there is some part of you that is feeling completely out of sorts, terrified to go to the doctor's appointment to talk about the gallbladder you have to have removed or some such thing, is to, in your mind, have that young scared self go to that safe space and hang out until it's time to come back out, so that you, the adult you, the one that's responsible and has to go take care of these hardships in life, you go do that without bringing your traumatized little self along, out in the, out in the fray where you don't want it. So safe can be two things. Safe is establishing the idea within your own body in the here and now concretely, and then safe space in your own mind so that you can use it as a tool to take things about you that you don't want exposed to hardships. If you're, especially if you're on the job, if you're a firefighter, if you're a police officer, you don't want those, pieces of yourself involved in your daily life. It has to go over into its safe space and hang out till it's time to come out. When you come, maybe when you're home having dinner, then it can be part of you again. So those are just some ideas of how to deal with triggering and how to establish the idea of what that word safe really means. It's not to think about what it is to make it what it is. And it takes a little practice, like I described in this video. I really hope this is helpful and useful information. I look forward to maybe doing another one, and wish you well.